From being attacked by a crocodile to waking up next to a dead girl, here are 4 disturbing true spring break horror stories. Number 4. A day that started out perfectly. It was an average day at the water park for most visitors, but for Lauren Perry, her day would take a turn when she never got to see her friends again. On March of 2016, 18-year-old Lauren Perry and her 2 friends went to a popular water park in Kansas City. The trio had just graduated from high school and they wanted to have some fun before their lives took them separate ways. And who wouldn't want to go to a water park? The temperatures were soaring above 90 degrees that day, so it was the perfect day for some water fun. But little did Lauren know this would be the last spring break she would ever spend with her friends. They had been planning this trip for months, and everything was going according to plan. At around 11 a.m., they decided to go down one of the biggest slides at the water park. It was a water slide that took you through a transparent tube that went through the middle of the park. While they went down the slide, people could see them, and sometimes even reach out and grab onto the tube they were in. But little did they know this would be the last thing they did together. When they exited the slide, Lauren and her friends separated to go meet up later at the wave pool. But Lauren never made it there. According to witnesses, after exiting the slide, Lauren looked like she was in shock and seemed confused as to where she was. She then wandered off and was never seen again. Security footage revealed that she walked past several park guests, including her friends, without saying a word. At 1:30 p.m., someone noticed her bag and shoes on the side of the lazy river, which was close to where she was last seen. But when park rangers checked the river, they couldn't find any sign of Lauren. A massive search was launched and divers searched every inch of the water park. Lauren's friends began to worry. They waited by the wave pool for hours, but Lauren never showed up. By 8 p.m., the police were treating the case like a missing person, his investigation, and Lauren's family was growing increasingly worried. After 3 long days, her body was found near a drainage pipe at the bottom of a lake near the water park. Divers believe that she had become disoriented after the water slide and accidentally wandered into the lake. Sadly, she drowned, and her body was trapped underwater for days. Her friends were devastated, and they blamed themselves for not noticing she was missing sooner. Number 3. The alligator attack. While spring break is usually associated with partying and having a good time, for 19-year-old Austin Murphy, his spring break was more like a nightmare. He and his friends almost lost their lives when they were attacked by a crocodile. Austin and his friends were just messing around in the water when all of a sudden they found themselves face to face with a giant crocodile. The group was knee-deep in the water when they first saw the crocodile. It was enormous and it appeared out of nowhere. They tried to scream for help, but nobody could hear them over the loud music being played by the bar on the dock. Thinking quickly, Austin grabbed his friend by the shirt and pulled him away from the dangerous reptile. In that split second, the crocodile lunged forward and clamped its jaws around Austin's right leg, dragging him under the surface of the water. Austin immediately went into shock, and he knew that if he didn't do something fast, he would be in serious trouble. Remembering his Boy Scout training, Austin managed to stab the crocodile in the eye, causing it to release him and retreat back to the mangroves. But the damage was already done. The crocodile had bitten off more than half of his right calf. If it hadn't been for his quick reactions, he may have been dragged underwater and drowned. As it was, he lost a lot of blood, and he needed emergency surgery to save his life. Luckily, a young doctor who was on vacation happened to be at the scene, and he helped to save Austin's life. The group had gone to a private island in Belize for spring break, and they had no idea that there were crocodiles in the water. Austin was in intensive care for several days as doctors tried to save his leg, but eventually they had to amputate below the knee. While Austin was recovering, he learned that there had been other crocodile attacks on the island that week. He feels lucky to be alive, and he's grateful for the help of the young doctor who saved his life. Austin now uses a prosthetic leg, and he's learning to surf again. He's also become an advocate for ocean safety, and he warns others about the dangers of swimming in crocodile-infested waters. Number 2. Dead Girl Next to Me. 21-year-old Megan Roberts and her friends were enjoying their spring break in Cancun when they decided to visit a popular nightclub. What they didn't know was that one of their friends would end up dying in the early hours of the morning. As soon as they arrived at the club, they started drinking heavily and dancing the night away. Several hours into the night, one of their friends, 20-year-old Abby, was getting very drunk. Worried that she might get into trouble or get hurt, her friends tried to keep an eye on her and make sure she didn't do anything stupid. But unfortunately, they were at a huge party and they lost track of her for a few minutes. When they went to look for her, they found her alone in a bathroom stall. Concerned, they asked her if she was okay, and she told them that she needed to use the toilet. After a few moments, they heard a strange noise from inside the stall, and when they knocked on the door, there was no response. When they finally managed to open the door, they were shocked to find Abby lying on the floor in a pool of blood with multiple stab wounds. Horrified, they immediately called for help, but it was too late. Abby had already passed away. The group was traumatized and they were interviewed by the police, but they couldn't offer any information about what had happened because they had lost track of Abby when she got drunk. The murder weapon was never found, and neither was the killer. Abby's family was devastated, and they brought her home for burial. Now, almost a year later, they still don't know who killed her or why. Number 1. A party boat turned nightmare. A group of college students decided to charter a boat for a wild spring break party on the water. But things took a dark turn when one of the passengers went overboard and disappeared into the sea. The group had chartered a 65-foot yacht for a day of sailing and partying. There were 17 passengers on board when the incident occurred. Alcohol and drugs were flowing and everyone was having a great time until someone realized that one of their friends was missing. The group had been sailing along the coast of Mexico when the accident happened. One minute, the man was there, and the next, he was gone. The captain immediately turned the boat around and started searching for the man, but they couldn't see him anywhere. They called out his name, but there was no response. The U.S. Coast Guard was notified and a search plane was dispatched, but they also came up empty-handed. It's unclear exactly what happened to the man, but it's believed that he either fell off the boat or jumped into the water and got caught in a current. His friends were devastated, and they spent hours searching for him, but they never found any trace of him. The group returned to shore, shaken and upset. They still don't know what happened to their friend, and they're haunted by the thought that he may have lost his life on that trip. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and leave a comment below. We appreciate your support and hope you've enjoyed our stories. Have a great rest of your day.